We honor a saint who walked the streets of Pittsburgh. Catherine Drexel was born in Philadelphia in 1858. Her father was an international banker. So they lived in luxury. They traveled extensively in their own private car. But at home, the mother showed great care for the poor in the neighborhood. And 3 times a week, she would open her house and invite the neighborhood people to come in and have a meal. We are told that she would lead her 3 daughters around the neighborhood and give care packages to the poor. Her father spent a half hour every night in prayer on his knees. So that upbringing influenced Catherine. Years later, traveling to the west and the southwest, she saw the terrible condition of the American Indians and the African Americans. She saw that there was no opportunity for education. And she felt a desire to serve them just as her mother would go door to door in the neighborhood and give care packages. And so in her late 20s, she took the train to Pittsburgh and went to Mount Mercy, to the Mother House, and she prepared for a religious life. She began her own religious order, the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament for the American Indian and African Americans. Her father left her a great fortune. In our money, it would be $35,000 a day, every day for all of her life. But she used that money to build schools. At the beginning, she supported the St. Francis Mission in South Dakota. But then she started building her own schools in the Southwest and the South. She built 49 elementary schools, 9 high schools, and founded Xavier University. She heard the words, "Blessed are you who are poor, for the kingdom of God is theirs." She herself lived poverty, even though she had bushels full of money. If she would wear the same shoes for 10 years, if a shoestring snapped, she would sew it together instead of getting a new shoestring. And as far as her own supplies for education, she would use pencils down to the very end of the nub. What was her inspiration? If we look at the title of the religious order she founded, the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament, in adoration, in plumbing the depths of the great gift of Jesus to us, she recognized God's love that is beyond our imagination, beyond our understanding. And she wanted to share that love with the less fortunate, with those who are downtrodden. So we can imagine that day after day, she and her sisters would celebrate at Mass, they would receive Holy Communion, they would pray, Thanksgiving, and then they would be off to their missions. The Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament inspire us to focus in on Jesus and his great sacrifice. We are called to sacrifice. We are called to care for our neighbor. Our neighbor could be 1,000 miles away or 2,000 miles away. And that's what Mother Catherine did. She cared for them. Many people dream of being rich. Mother Catherine gave away her fortune to have treasure in heaven. She gave away all that inheritance to build schools, to pay teachers. She teaches us that money is not the source of fulfillment in life, but the love of God is. No matter who a person is, rich or poor, happiness comes from lovingly serving the will of God. As we approach Lent, we are inspired that with works of mercy and charity, we too can store up treasure in heaven. She lived the poverty of Christ instead of the riches of this world, and she discovered the true richness of treasure in heaven.